overcome was based on data that was recent. It was 2018, 2019. So the idea was to get a feel for the current landscape of what's happening in migraine. We have older studies like the CAMEO, the AMPP, but this would give us a better idea of the current landscape. And in this study, we wanted to see, when you look at patients who have migraine, this was a very large population-based study, and there were over 21,000 respondents. And this was taken from Wave 1, Cohort 1 of the Overcome trial, but it's still ongoing, by the way. And so I think the significance is you look at what does it take to get successful migraine treatment. Number one, a person has to go see their provider, whether it be primary care, neurology, but you have to go to be seen. Number two, you have to get the correct diagnosis of migraine. And the third step you have to traverse to get appropriate care is you have to receive appropriate, in this case, we were looking at acute prescription medication. And we took appropriate, meaning that it had to have level A or B evidence from the AHS guidelines, and it could not be a narcotic or an opioid. The take home of this, which to me is still amazing considering all that we know about migraine, is that as recently as 2019, only 27.9% of patients were successful at traversing all three steps. And the group that was looked at were those that had a MIDAS score of 6 or more. So they were more disabled by their migraines. And so the total number was about 21,000. But when we narrowed it down to just looking at those with a higher MIDAS score, it was a little over 12,000. That, to me, it's kind of a sad state of affairs. It shows that there's still a lot of unmet need because you still have only 27.9% of those in a population-based study with disabling migraine that are successfully traversing all three steps: seeking care, getting correctly diagnosed, and receiving appropriate acute treatment. So there's a lot of work, I think, that still needs to be done. I think more education needs to be given to not just the layperson who has migraines, but I think my heart really goes out to the very busy primary care providers, not just in the United States, Europe, in all countries. I think primary care is truly at the forefront of patients coming in and seeking care. And so I'm part of some educational campaigns to really get out there and educate primary care to help them understand that when they see a patient with a disabling headache, as long as there's no signs of a secondary headache, it's migraine. Tension headache is not going to drive people into their primary care office because by definition, it's not disabling. So I think what's really going to move the needle, so to speak, is really getting primary care, that could be physicians, nurse practitioners, PAs, really getting them to see just how common migraine is and just how disabling it can be. And then to look at some of the new treatments we have and what a difference we can make in the lives of patients.